Yo, what's goody fam? Welcome to the Human Behavior Mastery Podcast. I'm your host, Dewan Mutunga. It's the podcast about tapping into mindset, leveraging psychology to create a better life, a better business, and ultimately a better you. This is going to be a very special conversation. I have my beloved big brother here. I would need about 2 or 3 episodes to even get into all of the mix, but he's been a big brother, a mentor to me, just an all around real one, and more specifically, he has a lot of life experience and expertise as it relates to relationship, but more specifically marriage, and anything that has to deal with relationship, courting, you getting into something, out of something. This is definitely one of my sources of advice. Somebody who's been in the trenches with me through my journey, and I needed to bring him on so that he could share his wisdom with y'all. So, my brother Quest Green, what's going on, bro?
Man, it's funny. You were saying a while ago, learning from me. It's a whole lot I learned from you as well, bro. You've been out in these streets mixing. I'm talking about you've been mixing, bro. So yeah, as much as I learned, you learn from me. I'm learning. It's mutual. You feel me? Yeah, man. But I'm glad to be on this joint, man. Me and the wife been watching the episodes from time to time. On the phone, on the scroll throughs and stuff. We seen the one that you did with Rochelle, the homie.
Yeah, so that one went crazy.
Oh man,
that one went crazy.
Man. So yeah, I'm glad, I'm honored, bro. I get to finally, you know what I'm saying? We coming up in the world, you know what I'm saying?
Listen, the time is the time.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
it.
Let me tell you, like, just for context, this gotta be 2014.
Yeah.
It's 2014. It's June of 2014. My cousin invites me to a men's conference. And
man, it's been 10 years like
right. Invites me to a men's conference. And I'm like, bro, cuz I'm not trying to be around a bunch of men right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in a hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, cuz, just come through, whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. He like, yeah, we gonna drive. I'm like, where we driving to? He like, Atlanta. I said, absolutely not. I'm not. No way I'm driving from New York to Atlanta. So if anybody could convince me, he could. So we drive down.
South to Simone.
You know what I'm saying? So what I didn't know was while we driving down, we getting close. I hear all these voices on the phone, and he's talking, and bros is just chopping it up. And we get to the conference, and we go in, and we're walking down the hallway to go to the meeting space. So we got a auditorium, and then there's a spot where we could grab some food. And we walking down the hallway, and I hear this big loud, like, yo, what up? Family, what's going on? So like, y'all know me. I'm not like, I'm a good dude. I'm not the warmest person on hello, especially like if I don't know you.
In the cut.
You know what I'm saying? I'm in the cut like a Band-Aid all the time. So we walking down, and my cousin turns around and greets him, and it's like this real hug. It's a lock-in.
Yeah.
It's a hug. And I turn around, and I'm looking, and I'm like, all right, cool. So they walking up. And Q like, oh, this your cousin, this family? Oh, what up, little baby? What's going on? Huh? And I'm like, okay, fam got a lot of energy. I'm like, he got a lot of energy. And I remember the energy that you brought, the vibe, just good energy, right? A good time. And during that time, I didn't know what I was walking into, but I remember distinctively turning that left corner into the space and just like stopping and being like, yo, I don't know what's happening in here, but it's different.
It's different.
And maybe an hour or two after that, You know, we start having conversation, and I didn't realize my cousin had this much love, and it was a family tie, and so I just was blessed to inherit it.
Yeah.
And you know, I was going through. I was married previously, and I was going through the go through, and Q, I never forget. It was John, you, and Ty was there.
Yep. Ty Douglas. Yep.
Shout out to Ty.
Shout out to Ty, Dr. Ty.
And you know, it's like, yeah, you know, it's a rough time back at home at the crib, whatever. And Quest goes, oh, you ain't following the order of operations. And I was like, so just for context, right? I'm from the Bronx. Quest is from Brooklyn.
Come on.
So it's already New York City energy. And then, again, I'm from the Bronx, and he's from Brooklyn. So I'm looking like, fam, who is you talking to?
That's all. You know how New York dudes is. That's always my man, like, just relax.
So I like stopped and looked like, like what's?
Yeah.
Like we just met 2 minutes ago, but it was a pouring in, and it was a invitation for me to receive. And he's like, yo, and you broke down the order of operations for me, like, yo, man, like, did you pray about that?
Yeah.
Like, you got to go to God first, and when He blessed that, then you make a move like that, right? And and I never forgot that from this moment. And I remember, it was a couple of days ago, actually. I was heading home, and I was like, I followed the order of operations this time. I did the work in a very intentional way this time.
It's funny. You and I were talking about, the previous situation before. And as you were talking, I'm thinking in my head, that's because of the behavior. The behavior. People want props. People want respect for work they ain't never do. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Right? And then speaking about the form of me and you, because I know, like, looking at me, or when I'm listening to my wife, and then me just looking at you, like, there's always 2 vantage points. I always tell people, like, there's a different vantage point when you in the eye of the tornado versus somebody who watching it move across the field. You feel me? It's 2 vantage points. And I don't know if you see it, but like me watching you from that time until now, night and day. Not to say that difficult time, like you was wilding out like during that time, but even the difficulties and the challenges that came your way. My man, you chopped that joint up, threw it in the pan, and you know what I'm saying, cook that joint up quick. You know what I'm saying? So just to see you do that, like, is unbelievable. And not that I never didn't respect you. I've always respected you, but I respect you even on a whole nother level now because of the internal work. You know what I'm saying? Like when you say, like, I followed the order of operations, like I did the exact same thing. When I'm telling you, like, I was married in 2003. Well, you know the story. It's just for the, for the fly on the wall. You know what I'm saying? And divorced in 2005. And E was like, yo, you gonna let me in now? Because, and I was like, yeah, because I for sure can't do this no more. This stuff right here is for the birds. Cause you know how we talk, like, my peace is everything.
Everything.
And when you married, I don't care if it's PEACE or PIECE. You know what I'm saying? We want both. I just want peace. You feel me? And so, yeah, that kind of stuff can't work. So another 7 years goes by, and I reconnect with somebody that I knew from high school, right? I mean, I shouldn't even say reconnect, because she was kind of always there. Her and my sister and 2 other girls, they was always best friends, and they rocked together. But for me to be walking into 12 years of marriage now, and like looking at who I was back then and now, and like to hear you say that, I'm like, yo, that's the reason why we get respected on the level that we get respected. And I'm not bragging about it. I'm just saying that's what naturally comes when you do the work. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man.
I received that, and I'm grateful. Like, there's not a, like, they're, you know, the version of who I am now. You know, I feel like I had the raw materials, and I was very much raw compared to what I am right now. There's a couple times Quest be like, hey, bro, listen, don't do that.
Calm down.
Like you, wow.
Calm my thing.
Like, chill out. But from the moment, you know, it is a moment of reflection for me, because submission has always been a recurring theme in my life.
Come on.
And
from
the moment I met you, you was warm and a brother, and you embraced me.
Yeah.
Even when I wasn't receptive to what you was trying to give me. And and I just had to submit to receiving the, you know, just kind of the information and the wisdom and the insight. And I just told you before off camera, I'm like, I get it now.
It's funny you say that, to say, you know, I received it even when I didn't want to. The thing that I always looked at you like is like, that's not the average dude off the block. It's more to this cat. More importantly, me and your cousin was. Yeah. I was like, oh, if he from that bloodline, then I already know what the deal is, right? But like, even because I don't know if it's because we from New York, why I like, you could see it, like, you could tell. You know the difference. That's a goon. He just affiliated. You can tell, right? And I knew that there was I was like, he's not the average dude. He's not the average dude off the block. It's more to him. And I would just see you operate. I'm like, oh, that's family. John was family already. So if you've John's family, then yeah, it's just, yeah. And so to hear you say that was the thing that allowed me to be like, okay, yeah, nah, he going through it, and he gonna need somebody in a minute. And I don't know if John was doing it already, but I was like, let me, you know, it's the same way.
Did that.
Yeah.
And you did that. Like, when I tell listen, I don't wish divorce on my worst enemy. Like, none.
It's different,
but there's you spoke about the eye of the storm there. You were one of a handful of people that, like I say, is in the trenches with me. Like, would be like, I need to lay eyes on you. Let me pop up. I don't care what's going on.
Every time I came to New York, I was like, what you doing? Where you at? I'm getting in the whip right now. Coming, yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, what's going on? Even if you just driving by, let me come up. Let me see what's up with y'all. Let me, you know what I'm, and it was you can, when you in the storm, when you in the, like, when you going through it, and you got people that's trying to fill a gap or just support or do whatever, like, it's a different type of relationship, a different type of bond. And it's I never go a day without a tremendous sense of gratitude for just those moments, because I remember you sharing your experience, and I couldn't understand, and then going through, and the way that you showed up for me was like, oh, I get it, because he knows, not from something he read in a book, but it's a real intimate, and you know, there was a bunch of other people that we have, you know, connected to that would try to support and understand, but it's like, you ain't been through that, so you don't really get it.
Bro, it's crazy, D, and I see when you were going through it, I felt like it was me all over again, because I remember going in and out of court. I remember, you know what I'm saying, having to deal with dudes popping up on me and serving me with papers. It was unbelievable. And I was like, yo, who has this kind of time in the day to do this kind of stuff? But it's what happens, man, when we lack development. Like, none of this would have ever happened if I was a more developed dude earlier on. Do I believe that it was all a part of my growth? I do. All of that stuff made me a better, I couldn't see it back then, but all of that stuff made me a better individual. Like, man, like, I remember having to go and pick my daughter up and having to wait an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes. And on certain days, she wouldn't even show up, period. You know what I'm saying? I remember going through all of that. I remember there was times where I would legit open my mouth and blame her. Like, I can't stand her. and you know where we come from. If you lean into it a little bit too much,
it's gonna go somewhere.
Oh, it's gonna go somewhere. And I ain't want it never to do that. So I would always have to stay on my face in prayer, like, God, give me strength to continue to be, you know what I'm saying, who you need me to be in this particular season. But at the end of it all, when I was finally like leaning more towards the growth and not so much towards my anger, I came down to the conclusion that you experiencing what you're experiencing because you chose her.
Yep.
I always tell people that when you choose somebody, be careful and make sure that you've done the work that you've done for you. Why? Because what you're about to do is you're about to choose somebody who is a spiritual mirror to who you are.
Bro, if I would have understood that,
Bruh.
I understand it so much more now than I did that.
Bruh.
So much more now than I did that.
And when I say I was, you know what it is to be toxic and don't know you toxic?
Yeah, and it's hard for you to catch it because you probably don't catch who you are.
Bruh.
So, of course, you can only see the mirror,
Bruh.
right? But when somebody's like, oh, that's you. You did this. You chose this.
Yep.
And you like, no, you don't think you did.
Yep.
Because that's the blind spot, right?
Yep.
You don't see it, and then you realize, oh, and that's where the tribe comes in, because they're distant enough to see it objectively and to point out things that you can't catch because you in it.
Yo, you would call me and you would say, whoop-de whoop, 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 whoop. And I'll be like, man, when you would say it, I like legit felt it, and my mind went back to the times that I experienced the same thing. And I was like, I know exactly what he feeling right now. And I was like, yo, I'll be in New York in a week. You know what I'm saying? Let's do
you'll pull up on me.
Yep. And let's go do, just to free up the mind. Because, yo, when I was going through it, bro, let me tell y'all, I ain't trying to, I've gotten to a place where I'm not, because of growth or my desire to be the best version of myself I could possibly be. And I think that's for me will be a journey that I'll
Never
always
stops.
be on until God called me home. But I think I'm in a place and space now where I'm not even mad at homegirl no more.
There's
no animosity.
feelings at
There's
all.
no, because people gonna be people, right? And at the end of the day, it was me to begin with. Nobody don't just show up in your life and become your partner.
You welcome it.
You know what I'm saying? You got it. That has been me from day one. But what I've learned to do is find out more about who I am as an individual. What, as we say in this language, what my blind spots are, how I show up. When I'm overusing my superpowers and they become destructive, like all of these different things. So for people who don't mean me and you know, but for people who might be listening, like the company, there's 3 pillars: love, lifestyle, and legacy.
Yep.
And then about a year and a half to 2 years ago, I was like, okay, that's dope, right? That's cute, but pillars don't stand on their own. Right? They don't stand on their own. They need something to stand on. Foundation. They need some level of foundation because they hold up, right? So they need something to plant firm on to hold up what needs to be held up. And so we was like, okay, good. Foundation. So it's love. It's really foundation, love, lifestyle, and legacy. But foundation speaks to who you are as an individual, how you're wired, how you show up in the world. Because if that's off kilter, then it affects the way you love, it affects the way you create lifestyle, and it affects the way you create legacy. So if my foundation, we call 9 to 5 right now and ask them, when y'all renovating homes, like my boy but shouts out to my boy Mark Houston. He is what you call it, contractor, right? He's a licensed contractor. So when they go into homes and they're about to renovate, the first thing that they do is they check the foundation to make sure it's right. And he's walking through the whole house and he's looking up at the walls. I'm like, what you looking at? He's like, I'm looking for cracks in the walls. I'm like, you just told me you was looking at foundation. He said, yeah, well, the cracks will tell me if the foundation ain't right. And I was like, what?
He sees something you don't see.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I could walk through and he's like, there's one room that we went in and it started at the corner of the door jamb. And, you know, it's got a little crack going up to the ceiling. He is like, yeah, we might need to look at the foundation at this part of the house because that lets me know if the foundation ain't right, then there's sinking. There's bow in the floors. There's cracks in the wall. Why? Because the house is getting settled and one side of the foundation might be up than the other side. So now they got to fill it so that it levels out. And that's what happens with a lot of us. Our foundation is shaky, but we making these big decisions. And no wonder when our relationship, when life or the storms and the winds and the weather start coming, we wondering why is this cracks in my wall? Why when I put this marble on the floor, it's rolling to that side of the room? Like in our life, it's the same thing. Like the foundation ain't right. So we wondering why and I realized that what you went through, what I went through was because our foundation wasn't right.
That was it.
And now over the years, we just like, all right, cool. Let's level out. Let's do the inside work. That's funny. Foundation is stuff people don't even see.
At all. At all.
They don't even see it.
It is the epitome of if you know, you know.
Come on.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Right? You don't even know what to look for unless you've been. So listen, when I got out of that, I was like, oh, my whole world,
Bruh.
The way I looked at the world was different. The way I approached everything, it changes you. You're a different, it rewires everything. Yo, what's goody, fam? Listen, I know, I'm going to let you get back to the episode, but I wanted to take a minute to let you know about the Human Behavior Mastery course. Yes, we have a course that we put together for coaches, consultants, corporate leaders, and entrepreneurs. I know you're listening to the pod and it's all of this numbers and the adaptive and the natural, the D, the I, the attributes. We put together a comprehensive course to walk you through exactly how to understand each one of the personality types, each one of the values, and we're going to show you exactly how to get the most out of each type. What things you need to avoid, what environments to put you in, and what pieces to put around you to be successful. So if you're looking at taking your business, your life, or your relationship to the next level, make sure you go check out the Human Behavior Mastery course. Back to the episode.
Bruh.
You know what I'm saying? So when you know, for the people, when was the first time, like, when did you say, yo, I am going to get into this work? Like, there's people out there going through some stuff and I can help them. Like, when did that switch flip for you?
I think the first thing that I did, or the first thing that made me look at, I need to get some work for me is taking constant L's. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, where we come from, we don't
take those well.
We don't take L's well. If anything we want to do, and we want to do it with excellence. And I don't know, we just move with a different bravado. And for me to be, you know what I'm saying, in the place and space that I was as a grown man, as an adult, I was like, we can't take L's in relationship like this no more. And I'm a family dude. Coming up where we came up from, like, you know what I'm saying, you got to maintain a certain, you know what I'm saying, bravado. But I'm here and I'm like at the core of who I am. I'm a family dude. Even when I was on the block, like, for real, I'm a family dude. I'm a family guy. And so when you're taking L's like that and it's affecting who you are as an individual, you got to admit, if you anyway halfway thinking in your right mind, you got to say to yourself, okay, I need some work. It's the dudes who prideful, who perpetually repeating ignorant decisions every day. Yeah, that's pride. You know what I'm saying?
That's a bar.
You know what I'm saying? Or ego, etching God out. It's them dudes who remain in the place and space. Like, I don't want to put nobody on blast, but my daughter speaks too, you know, and she'll tell me stuff sometimes, and I'm thinking to myself, how is it that you could be at this age and still remain in that place? Like, don't you want better? And that was it for me. I was taking L's and I wanted better. And so I reached out. Luckily, I had E in my life. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to E.T. You know what I'm saying?
Because he definitely was in the trench.
Like, for real.
Too,
I'm talking about since mid-90s, I've been rocking with my man. And even when I was going to get married, you know, he kind of, you know, he had this, but he didn't really. And it was funny because when I got married to Faith, immediately he did all our premarital counts, coaching. Come on, it's too many dudes. Like, for real, there's some stuff that you need to know before you jump in. Lifelong commitment. I don't really think people understand the depth of that commitment. I tell people all the time, marriage requires love. Love requires commitment. And commitment requires abandoning all exit strategies. And so if you're not going to have any exit strategies, you're going to do one or two things. You're going to do the work or you're going to live miserably. You know what I'm saying? So I think to your question, that was it. It's realizing that, all right, you're not where you're supposed to be. You taking L's. You need help. And I think that started the journey for me too. And then it's funny, man. God is a funny dude. When I was at UNC, I was a CIS major, and something in between told me to switch from CIS to communications, because I'm like, all right, cool. I've been wanting to do, you know what I'm saying, the VJ thing for, you know what I'm saying? Come on, put me on the radio. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? And then I was taking all of these courses like interpersonal communication, emotional communication and understanding, like all of these different things. I'm like, why am I taking these classes? And when it was all over and said and done, and I finally graduated, E and CJ called me on the phone one day, like maybe about a month after I graduated. It was like, yeah, we seen what you're doing on video, and we want you to run the Thank God I'm Married portion of ETA. And yeah, one thing blossomed into another. But to your question, that's what started it. It's them L's, man.
But then somebody
L's.
saw
the
work you was doing and was like,
yeah.
Let me say this, and I don't know if you felt this way, but I definitely felt. If you see somebody that you know,
that you love,
and that you love,
no doubt,
and they in a situation that they don't got no business being in, tell them in whatever way you need to. Tell them, please do not wait until the conclusion or the sunset to be like, yeah, man, you know, I felt like I should have, you know, I always,
you know why I do it? I'll tell you why I do it. And sometimes I have to curb myself, because I don't never want to be in a position where I'm giving people unsolicited advice or information. But if I love you, right? And it was funny because he loved me enough to say, when you gonna let me in? Or you gonna let me in now? So that I was like, yeah, because I can't. And I think that's the thing that causes me to do it. Because if I love you, like if he say he love you, he love you. He not like one of them dudes to be like, you know what I'm saying? And so I think it's my responsibility now to show that same kind of love to, you know what I'm saying? Like if I see you, and I'm not gonna beat you over the head, but I'm gonna shoot you a quick word. And then depending on the response determines if I go further or if I back off. You know what I'm saying? Once again, I ain't on that unsolicited boy, but I love you, so I gotta bypass that for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
No, that's important, because it's, you know, there's too many people that you trying to nice your way through relationship with people, and when you try to nice your way through the relationship and people don't know, you end up doing more damage in the long run. So having people around you who are not, I'll never forget, you used to say something to me. He was like, you know, you got to keep people around you that love you, but they're not impressed by you.
Oh, that's accountability. People who love you, who you give permission to check you. You know what I'm saying? When you're not doing the thing that you said you were going to do, or when you go left field for whatever reason, that are not impressed by you. Because sometimes, because of what we do, and in terms of all of this stuff, like people get like, yo, we seen X, Y, like for real. That's all well and good, but I'm not impressed by none of that. Who are you as an individual? That's who I want to connect to. And sometimes when you have people that are impressed by you, they won't tell you the stuff that you need to hear sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And so that's important for me. Like all y'all got permission. All the peoples that I'm in covenant with, all y'all got permission to tell, yo, homeboy, your slip is showing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, because that was the dangerous part. I was at a point where I won compared to where I come from. And I hit a ceiling, and it was like, yeah, you might be winning over there, But in this arena, you not even average. Like you gotta like there's some core things that you gotta figure out. And then having people who what I know now love you enough
come on.
to check you or say something to you.
Come on.
And they don't care nothing about your feelings because they love you that much. And they cool with you getting upset or being in your feelings for a little bit. They'll let you go take a walk, have a little breather.
Yeah.
I tell you, it between you and Shannon.
Oh, Shannon's notorious for
he's
it.
Hey, listen. Even E would be like, hey, listen, man, talk to me before Didi get up, first of all. So you're gonna have to wake up early.
Yep.
But even like E found it, like E would just I think universally there's a way that E speaks to you that you like, I don't know if I would accept this from anybody else.
It's crazy. but you. Yeah.
You got an anointing. So
it's because he a shepherd, man.
Yeah.
My man is a shepherd. And you can't when he talks to you some way, somehow he gets to the core who you are as an individual. And you can't front on it. You can't front on it. You know, you never know when you ever know when like somebody coming talking real to you, you really ain't feeling the real that they telling you. Like you really want to skip, like, man, go ahead with that. But you can't front on it because it's
real. It's true.
That's him.
And there were, those conversations I distinctly remember conversation with you, with E, with Shannon, and even my pops, and it was just like, you gotta deal with you. And it's regardless of what's happening around, it's around you because it's attracted to your frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And so what work do you need to do to change the frequency to attract the things that you say that you want?
And it's in the smallest of areas too, because I think a lot of the times we pay attention to the big areas. It's not the big areas. My man Lee Lamb used to say, it's the little big bang. It's the little things that you do that lead up to the big bang. So for me now, I'm in a season now where I'm working on my time. I'm not even a C dude like that. My wife is 199 on that thing, bro. You feel me?
I feel you.
I hate to be the dude to show up. Like if they say 5 o'clock, you best believe 5:30, 5:45, I'm walking up in the spot like, yo, what up, what up, what up? I've never been that dude to be anywhere like on time. I've always been fashionably late. My wife, man, if she say 5 o'clock, she mean 4:45. And if you hit 5 o'clock, you're already too late. Mm-hmm. But I realized that my time and me not being, especially if I got to go with her, if she doing her own thing, she go do her thing. The minute that I gotta get in it, if we supposed to leave at 5 o'clock, she gonna tell me to start getting ready from 3:30. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Even though I don't gotta start getting ready till 4 o'clock. That's what she tell me though. And I don't want to always put her in a position where she can't trust me with time. I want her to be able to trust me across the board. Now, she trusts me when it comes to the kids, when it comes to the house, when it comes to finances, she trusts me in a number of different areas. When it comes to time or anything structure related. And I'm like, in this season, if it's about growth, then I'm going to have to do the work necessary so that she feels comfortable with my time. Am I ever going to be as nice as her? I don't know. If you ask me, probably not. You know what I'm saying? Probably not. But when you talk to that, right, that's where I am in this season, is trying to be better in terms of my growth and my time. So when I always ask her, what time do we need to leave here? We need to leave here at 4 o'clock. Okay, good. 2:30, I'm starting the process because I know me. I'm dancing around the house. I'm talking, you know what I'm saying? I might get 2 phone calls to come in, and what I do now is I turn the no disturb.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I don't get this.
Don't get distracted.
Come on. And that's the thing with a lot of us, on what you were speaking to earlier on. We make the choices that we make because it look good and it feel good, not realizing that you got an impediment in that area. Mm-hmm. You don't make decisions real well when it come to that. And so you won't look at your blind spot, because anytime you got to look at your blind spot now, you fearful that you might get looked at differently. It's painful to, I'm good. In this season, I realize the blessing is much bigger waiting for me on the other side of the thing that I need to face. So,
yeah, and it takes a level of maturity,
man.
Or you get, like people get to the point where they have no choice but to change,
Man.
for one reason or the other.
Man.
And so for me, you know, I realized like I'm used to willing my way to doing something. I gotta.
It's the 5 boroughs way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's just a raw.
yeah.
I just have a way of willing myself, and it's like, nah, it's not about that no more.
Yeah.
Right? It's you gotta shift one because it ain't about you. Yeah. You gotta lead and you gotta leave a legacy.
Yeah.
You gotta engineer and design a lifestyle, right? And that takes getting things out of you and in a way that somebody else could pick up the baton and run with it the same way you did.
Yeah.
So that means you got to start documenting. You got to start taking notes.
Come on.
You got to start sharing. You got to start teaching. You got to start expressing and professing yourself in a way that like you might not be used to because it's natural to you. So you just doing stuff.
Man.
But when you in partnership and you doing life with somebody, you have to share that with them in a way where they feel comfortable and secure and ready to bust a move.
Bruh, you know, like what you said is not easy for most males. Especially from where we come from.
Oh, yeah.
We don't like vulnerability will get you got. Yeah. Like, and then you become the target after that.
And that's a real thing because I remember even then you like, yo, D, get out of there. Get out of the city because it's forcing you to be a version of yourself that's not conducive to the type of growth that you're trying to have.
But here's the funny thing. When we leave, I'm like, take a little piece with you though. Because I'm like, take a little piece with you though. Here's the funny thing. I remember you said it to me one day and I felt the way, bruh. You was like, Q, your armor falling off. And I was like, I felt some kind of way. Like, what you mean? Like I can't get down no more? Like, you know what I'm saying? You was like, no. I think one morning I was speaking from a place of gratitude, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I was outside this morning walking and I was just like in a place of like extreme gratitude. I could like feel the breeze on my skin. I could feel the hairs raising up. I could feel the sun on my face. Like, he was like, your armor falling off.
Yeah, you was alive.
Yeah. But the way that you were saying it was that thing, it's funny, like we don't have a name to describe it, but when we start talking about it, we know exactly.
It's a way of being.
It is, bruh. Like,
but it's trauma.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it comes from the place of I don't have the luxury to be soft.
Yeah.
Because if I'm soft, then somebody's gonna prey on me.
Oh, come on.
And it's like, you mean you got to be a gladiator with your wife too?
Yeah.
You got to be a gladiator with your kids too? Like,
and here's the thing. It took me a minute to grasp it that there's a difference between being meek and weak.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a difference in between the two. Like, I'm meek. I ain't no killer. But do me a favor. Don't play with me like that. I ain't swung none in a minute, but I promise you it's like riding a bike. I promise you it's like riding a bike. And so that whole, like, the armor falling off and just like really starting to come into the fullness of my authentic self. Because I think where we come from, like, everybody got their armor on, but there's so many different gifts and talents. But because of the area that we live in, we don't get often to take that armor off. You
don't have a chance to because it's a survival.
Yeah, it's
a defense mechanism.
And it's funny, when I got out of the city and my first visits, you know what I'm saying, rest in peace to Fife. Fife was the one who really got me to start looking at the South. When I would come, people would be like, hey, what's up? Like, what's up? You know, back home, when you say what's up, it means like, prepare to guard your grill because it's about to go down, right? But people were genuinely saying, by the time I finally got used to it, I was like, yo, this Southern hospitality is like real. And that was the beginning, I think, of the armor. I'd lose a screw here, you know what I'm saying?
You don't even realize that's actually a blessing.
Yeah, it is. because now I get to move into the fullness of who I am authentically. And then I get to see what my true blind spots are. Not because I got the armor on and now I got that off, because you got to deal with those blind spots.
For sure.
But once you take that off and you get to be your authentic self, now you get to work on the true you and not the armor that you're working on.
Yeah, you don't even get to see who you are until the armor comes on.
That's crazy.
Right? And I remember distinctively what you said. You like, man, I don't know if it's I'm getting older or these kids, but man, I just be crying at stuff now.
Man, bruh,
I be feeling, I'm like,
bruh.
I'm like, okay, I'm human now.
I'm human. 45. I don't know what it was about 45, but when 45 rolled around, it was like God turned the punk switch on. Like I would be sitting with Faith watching a movie and I would be so moved by what was taking place that I would legit shed tears. And Faith was like, are you crying? And I was like, no, you crying. You know what I'm saying? And I'm wiping off. Now, I no problem whatsoever. No problem whatsoever.
That's a beautiful place to be.
Beautiful place to be. Beautiful place to be. And because it allows me to see me for me now and see that all the things that I thought that make me look weak actually make me strong, if you will. Because now I can talk to people and minister to, which is really why we in existence anyway. The life that we live is really not our own. Right? When you're looking at it from a spiritual perspective, we're all here to inspire, encourage, empower, all of those powerful words that we like to do for other people, right? The whole mindset, give and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, running over with good measure. So we're supposed to give something to somebody else based upon the talents and gifts that we've been given. But when you live with an armor on, you don't get to operate in the fullness of the gifts. Mm-hmm. So you losing out, number one, and then people losing out because they don't get to see the authentic you.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So it's been one of the most transformative things for me, especially in my marriage, because my wife loves and respects the individual that I am because of my growth.
Because she's seeing.
Yeah, she's seeing the transition. Like, I remember you from high school. You was not this dude. I don't care.
So two things. One, what word would you give somebody who is looking to be married, right? Like looking to be in a long-term committed relationship, marriage. Like, what word would you give them? What advice would you give them about doing that the right way?
Okay. The younger or less experienced coach would say, vet them out good and proper, right? From front to back, take it to God in prayer, right? The experienced and the sage in me, if you will, says to vet yourself out. You know what I'm saying? Like, vet yourself out. Make the investments necessary in communities, in coaches, in therapists who can help you better understand you. Help you be the best version of you. Because I think, when I was saying it earlier, DeJuan, I was saying that if you about to choose somebody, right, in your current state, you're always going to choose somebody that's a reflection of who you are spiritually. Yep. What happens now that when I take the person that I am and I put growth on it with steroids? You're thinking differently. You're processing information differently. You are looking at yourself in a different light. You're more conscious. You process information better, right? You've got more information. And I always say that when people are choosing a mate, they need to experience a breakthrough. What is a breakthrough? A breakthrough is an advanced bit of knowledge or information that allows you to push past your point of resistance. So you know how some people be saying, man, I keep attracting the same person over and over again. Yeah, and you looking at them, but you looking at the wrong person. You should be looking at you. Who am I that I keep attracting that? Yep. You know what I'm saying? Yep. My father used to tell me that sugar, honey, iced tea only attract one thing, flies. You know what I'm saying? And I used to always laugh at that. But the truth is the truth. Remember when we used to go to the club and the scantily clad chick, the dudes is always trying to dance up behind and they stop and look back at you. Well, what you expect? You got the, you know what I'm saying? You got the uniform on. You came in here, you know what I'm saying, hot to try. You know what I'm saying? Like, what did you expect me to think? And I think sometimes that we fail to look at the foundation. If we want love, if we want lifestyle, if we want legacy, then we got to make sure that the foundation is right. That's me. So I would say if you serious about relationship, you serious about wanting to be married to somebody, vet yourself out. Get you a coach, get you a therapist, make sure that you are the best version of yourself you could possibly be. Because once you do that, your decision making changes. And now you're making solid decisions based upon who you are as an individual.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to somebody that's married in the middle of a storm?
Ooh.
And they're trying to figure, they don't, you get that feeling like, I don't know where this is going. I don't know what advice would you give them?
Yeah. So once again, there's always a common denominator. And once again, I'll say, I'm going to give you the same answer. Look at yourself. What are you doing, or what are you doing as an individual that's contributing to the storm that you're in right now? There's 4 seasons, right? But there's 4 seasons of marriage too. You could be in your spring season, your summer season, and you find yourself by one move, you done went right past fall and ended up in the winter season. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. And depending on how you respond to the adversities and the challenges and changes and the opposition that you experience in marriage and relationship is going to determine how long you stay in the fall and season. I mean, in the winter season, or like how quickly you can move to, for real, you could be in winter, make some adjustments, and within a short space of time, find yourself right back in spring all over again.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? I think we fail to look at ourselves as the least common. There was things that happened that even to this day that happened with me and Faith in our relationship, and I'll go to God, and it's funny when I go and walk and talk with God, it's almost like he's notorious for it. Rather than deal with the thing that I'm coming to you for, you're gonna show me stuff about me. I'm like, how?
I ain't come here for this.
I didn't come here for this. Like, I did not come here for this. Help me. And he's like, son, I am helping you. I'm showing you that you head of household and you don't have the luxury of doing the stuff that they do. And so if that be the case, I'm going to need you to make some adjustments. And of course, you can't see the byproduct of what these adjustments are going to produce. But just trust me. Make the adjustments. And every time I've made the adjustments that he told me to, it's knocked out that and 50 more birds behind it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man.
Okay, now the last one. For the people who divorced.
Oh.
And they're trying to figure out what to do from there. What advice?
Same. Same.
Okay, there's a common theme here.
Same.
Common theme here.
Yeah, it is a common thing. It's a common thread. Whatever happens in life that we are involved in, the least common denominator is you. You know what I'm saying? I remember when my ex-wife and I remember when we got divorced. When we got divorced, I could have done a number of different, I did a couple of things too. Not stuff that I'm proud of, but it was all a part of the journey to growth. And what I realized is that at the end of it all, at the bottom of it all, is you.
Right. No, that's real.
You didn't just like stumble into these situations. You didn't just happenstance. All of these things that happened to you based upon a decision that you made. Directly or indirectly. Either way. Whether you was one of the things that, hopefully we get to talk about it. Coming up is we're about to start working with the singles now. And so we got a singles summit coming up. And if you want to visit the site, singles connectsummit.com. That's the David.
We'll put the link in there.
Okay, good. So one of the topics that we're dealing with is navigating through relationships on autopilot. You know what I'm saying? It look good, it feel good. You getting your back twisted. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, and not realizing that you are not addressing the things that need to be addressed. I'm not against anybody who asks the hard questions in the beginning of a relationship. That determines who's serious and who ain't.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's one you always used to drill home to be as authentic as you possibly can, because when you used to drill it, I was like, oh, okay. People come into your life for a reason, season, and a lifetime. And who gets to be in which category is going to be a response to how authentic you show yourself, because everybody ain't going to rock with you.
Yep.
You feel me? And so, yeah, if you've been divorced and you trying to figure out what's your next move is to heal from what you just experienced. Because divorce, you said it earlier on, and I'm co-signing. I don't wish that on my worst enemy, especially if you got children involved, bro. Let me tell you, the one I went through 16 years of that foolishness, getting locked up twice. Now they wasn't like 3 to 5, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like nothing. But any day in jail is a day too long.
Yep.
4 days here on one, another 5 days. I don't never get that time back. You know what can happen in a 4-day period? You know what I'm saying? So I think the main thing is to make sure that you get the healing that you need. And then after you get the healing that you need, work on you. And I think that's the part that people don't like, because now you got to face
accountability. And let me say this, because I don't like when I hear this. People like, oh, you need to wait till you healed in order to be. People are always healing.
Always.
That doesn't stop.
Always.
So what I would advise from my lived experience in my situation was you got to stabilize first.
Yep.
And then you can start to transition or move.
Absolutely.
Question I ask everybody as we wrap. If you can give a person one mindset, one perspective, one thought that will help forward them in becoming the best version of themselves, what would that be?
One word?
Just one thought, one perspective, just a mindset to leave with the people.
It's what I always say when we do content. From shaky to good, from good to great. Ultimately, what all of us want is phenomenal lives, phenomenal marriages, phenomenal relationships, phenomenal finances. We just want phenomenal. But phenomenal don't just happen. It takes work. So let's do that work, and I'll see everybody at phenomenal.
Yeah, and my favorite is marriage ain't for suckers. It really ain't.
It ain't for suckers, bro.
Let the people know where they can find you.
They can find your boy on Instagram at quest_green. You can stop by the webpage at www.jquestgreen.com. You can get the book. Quest for Faith, right? You can get that at the shop. Go to jquestgreen.com/shop, and you can go there and get the book.
I'll put links to all this too.
Oh yeah. And then right now, like I said, we're working with the single. So we have a summit, a free summit. So yeah, we're inviting all of those who are successful. You getting the money, you getting the bag, but for some strange reason, you can't connect in the area of love and relationships. So we're going to help some people understand that it's rooted in personal development first. Because you need to be the right person in order to choose the right person.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? So go to singlesconnectsummit.com. Singlesconnectsummit.com.
Yeah, please tap in with my big brother, man. He really lives this work.
Oh man.
And if you see me, and if you see my growth, his fingerprint is on me.
Man, praise God.
So I say that. But y'all know me, Dewan Mutungo, and everything.
Come on.
And we'll see you in the next pod.
Holla.
Peace.